Hey guys, welcome back to Closing Bell. Joining us now is Irving Fain, co-founder and CEO of Bowery Farming, an urban agriculture farm in New Jersey. Irving, thank you so much for being here today. You brought us dinner. Okay, we need to break down this vertical urban farming. What is it? It's a huge trend. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Bowery is the modern farming company, and we grow fresh produce in an indoor enclosed environment, which allows us to grow 365 days of the year, totally independent of weather and seasonality. And we can grow with no pesticides, no chemicals. We're over 100 times more productive than the same square foot of farmland, and we save 95% of the water while we grow.
Where does the name Bowery come from?
So Bowery is actually one of the Dutch words for farm. And right up by us is the Bowery in New York, and that was actually where a lot of the Dutch settlers came, and they were growing food that was going to feed the rest of New York. So Bowery is the farms that feed the city.
Gotcha. And you brought us some of the products that
I
you
did.
farm.
We brought a few of
What
our
are
products.
They? Describe them.
So we brought some basil here for you. We brought some arugula, and then we brought our kale mix, which is a few different kales put together.
But you didn't bring us any dressing.
We did not, but you don't need any dressing.
Really healthy today.
You don't need any dressing, which is, I will say, you try the arugula and you will see it tastes fantastic completely on its own.
Okay, so is this vertical farming mainly for urban areas like cities like New York?
It's the idea, I mean, you could technically build our farms anywhere you wanted to. It makes a lot of sense for cities because when you look at the global trends, you see that the population's growing from 9 to 10 billion people by 2050, and we need somewhere between 50 to 70% more food to feed that population. And while all those things are happening, 70 to 80% of people are going to be living in and around cities. So there's this huge move towards urbanization and this question of how do you provide fresh food to urban environments in a way that's more sustainable becomes really important.
We've had a lot of urban farming guests on our show in recent months. I'm wondering if it's right now the best time. Is it too early or is it too late if you want to get in this game?
Listen, I think what's good about this industry in general, what's important about this industry is these are important problems and these are big problems that we need people thinking about and working on solving. We're excited at Bowery that we're involved today because the technology today works, the economics today works, and it gives us an opportunity to build an exciting and a big business that's solving important problems.
Okay, but what are some of the benefits of indoor farming? Obviously, there's not going to be, is there sunlight? Is this better for the environment?
Yeah, so if you look at industrialized agriculture, it is a huge consumer of resources. So about 70% of the world's global water supply goes to industrial agriculture, or agriculture in general rather, and just in the US alone, we use about 700 million pounds of pesticides every year. So what we can do at Bowery is grow with absolutely no agrochemicals. So no pesticides, no herbicides, no fungicides, no insecticides. That means they aren't going into the water, they're not going into the soil, they're not getting onto the food that we're eating and our kids are eating. So there's a benefit right there. We're also able to be much more efficient on the land. So I mentioned earlier, we're 100 times plus more productive than the same square footage of farmland. So you're using land more efficiently. You're using water more efficiently. We're saving over 95% of the water compared to traditional farming. And our farms are located so close to where the food is being consumed, you're actually growing a better product. It's a fresher product, it's a higher quality product, it's better for us and it's better for the world.
Well, it's local, and I'm thinking about kind of the places where you're already selling your products. It can really be that kind of farm to table product.
Absolutely.
Because it's well, if it's just in New Jersey and it's December, you can still get fresh arugula.
You can come into our farm today and it is bright and shining and smells fantastic even though it's about 30 degrees outside. So in the middle of the big snowstorm a couple weeks ago, our food was being grown and harvested as if it was, the nicest day in summer.
But are there types of products that you can't? Are there vegetables that are just not able to be grown in this way, or is it all vegetables can be grown this way?
What's interesting is you can absolutely grow anything.
Really?
Yeah, you can grow anything. Now, not everything is going to make economic sense necessarily, and so we're not focusing on every crop under the sun. So, we don't focus today on things like wheat or things like corn or things like soy, some of the big staple crops. That's not an area where we're focused. We're not focused right now on orchard crops, an apple or an orange, but anything in the leafy green and herb category, different vine crops, different fruiting crops.
Like.
Yeah, and even some of those, apples are great as well, but there are so many crops right now that already we can grow and that make great candidates for indoor agriculture that in and of itself, it's a big opportunity and an important thing to focus on.
So Irving, obviously there's been a huge trend in everyone buying and shopping organic, and is there the downfall here is that you can't label this as organic, correct? So do you think that the next, trend or wave in healthy eating is going to be this type of labeling of food, of this vertical urban farming?
So Bowery's actually growing the world's first post-organic produce.
So
what does post-organic mean?
We're starting a new movement here.
So you think about what organic was. And so organic is and was a response to the industrialized agriculture system, which was a huge consumer of resources. And we talked before, it was consuming resources, but it was also doing damage to the land. And so the organic movement came on and said, we can grow food in a better way for the world, and we can do it in a way that's better for us when we consume it. But technology that's available today wasn't available back then. So we're able to do things today at Bowery that you couldn't do when the organic standards were written. And so post-organic is really the next evolution beyond the way organic was an evolution from large-scale industrialized farming.
All right. Okay, so you have this Farm OS technology.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
So the farm itself is a marriage of a lot of automation that actually helps grow the product, and then software that we've built from the ground up at Bowery. So it's called the Farm Operating System, and it really is the brains of the farm. And it's taking in hundreds of thousands, ultimately millions of points of data that affect quality of food, the way food grows and yield, the taste and flavor. We have a vision system that we've built, and all that information is taken in, it's processed and run through machine learning algorithms, and we're able to look and see what do we need to adjust in order to change the way food may be growing, the way our crops are tasting, any different attribute. And then those changes get pushed out automatically, and the system makes those changes in real time in response to what it's seeing and what it's learning.
All right, do you want to try some of this?
Yeah.
I have some funding questions for you. 7.5 million
Absolutely.
raised to date. I see Matt Salzberg, the founder and CEO of Blue Apron, is among your investors. He actually went to high school with me. RRE Ventures, and also Lehrer Ventures. So a lot of people excited about this. How is it?
Great. Is this pre-washed?
It doesn't even need to be washed, actually. That's what's great about it.
Because it's indoors and it's
indoors,
like
it's completely pure. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying, so clearly you have a mix of tech, kind of traditional tech media investors, and then, you have Blue Apron, obviously they have an invested interest in stuff like this, but what makes it an easy sell? And versus, your competitors who are also in the space?
I think we're really fortunate because we have some of the best investors in the world at this stage who've gotten behind Bowery and been excited. First Round Capital, our lead investor, has backed a lot of sort of category-changing companies over the course of their life. And I think what they saw was both an enormous market opportunity here and a moment in time and a technological approach that we were taking at Bowery, which was differentiated from a lot of the people in the space and made a lot of sense both from a hardware and an automation standpoint, but also on the software side. And then you look at somebody like Matt at Blue Apron as well as Tom Colicchio on the food side, and for them it was both about changes in the category that they saw coming, but also, and most importantly, especially with Tom, is the food good?
Yeah.
And Tom tried it and said, fantastic, can I have it in my restaurants? And so, for us, that's an important stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So besides that, what other restaurants like here in New York are you currently in?
So we're being featured at Kraft and at Fowler & Wells, which are two of Tom's restaurants, and that's really where we're focused and starting. And I think for us, Kraft is great because it's one of the original farm-to-table restaurants. And Tom is a big proponent of seasonality and that movement. And so for him to get behind something like Bowery and the fact that sort of it's a seasonless produce, essentially, and that it meets his standards, that's a big deal for us.
Awesome. Well, it smells great. Thank you so much for joining us.
It tastes great, too.
Was it good?